there were beings who broke away from the Creator's laws of choice. And they were rounded up and banished to this planet Earth. Our little garden planet then became a dumping ground for high-level intelligence exiles. Their Homo sapien body became the preferred vehicle for these non-material intelligence to enter into. Virtually all of the ancient cultures tell of this invasion or event. And virtually all of the rebels, so to speak, were eventually lost in this material world by accepting their reflection as themselves. This is what the records tell you, as far as you go back. Well, tradition and most of the really ancient histories tell us that these lesser gods actually lost their knowledge of there even being a supreme creator. They came to think of themselves as the creators themselves, and the princes of this world. Well, whether accepted as fact or as an allegory, the goals are similar. Our species is now struggling along with an alien technological intelligence that is not a part of our original knowledge. By trial and error, our species is learning to blend in this knowledge with all the other former knowledges of an animal nature. Our bodies have a knowledge of agriculture, food gathering, and enjoyment. Yet the new alien mind circuits are always pushing us toward technology and ignoring our bodies and our desires. Naturally, this creates chaos and conflict until we learn enough to balance these mind-oriented thoughts and get each of our inner components an equal share of time and experiencing. With many of the body's energy seeds or prototypes now linked to a higher and alien intelligence, our species will remain in a chaotic learning condition until the lost perfection is regained. Well, this story is given in a simple allegory in the Genesis chapter of the Bible, as we mentioned, and Adam is warned that if he becomes too engrossed in pure materialism and technology, the body will self-destruct eventually and die. Well, Satan, representing the exiled and alien intelligence, is continually hooked into the human brain. And the thoughts are continually coming in with a preference toward materialistic and materialism and technology, the alien knowledges. And this alien mind action occurs when any Aborigines pure tribe interbreeds with European stock nowadays. Has for thousands of years now. Immediately, the primitive or Aborigines will forsake the tribal life and nakedness and wind up in civilization, working by the sweat of their brow, or until they learn to balance their mind components. Probably the most confusing thing about Earth is the mix-up of knowledges and intelligences here, in this schoolroom of life, so to speak. There's souls from all over the universe that evidently wind up here. And this planet is one of the most unique spheres of learning anywhere in this universe. Now, identities from all sectors apparently come here to expand their learning and self-control. And as Eliphas Levi, the great mystic, once said, the angels aspire to become men, for the perfect man, the man God, is above even angels. We've passed through the test of fire on this planet. It's the Greek Pandora's box of chaotic experiences here that leads to our learning experience and eventual balance on this material plane. Thorns and thistles in a land outside Eden is the way the Bible puts it. And as the gods of the non-material world descended into this material world of carbon-based atoms, the laws of matter forced them into becoming positive and negative, or male and female. And thus the regeneration female half is given responsibility for eating of the fruit of knowledge. Well, the fruit, of course, is only symbolic of the condition which arises from the gods interbreeding the animal-man species. It's a condition which corrupted the perfect animal brain circuits and caused a bypassing of the automatic instinct circuits, as we pointed out before. Now, in the original Hebrew writings, the tree of life bore 12 manners of fruit, which signified the 12 channels of spiritual energies in the body. Now, the new mind actions were unacquainted with many of the body functions, and even today, thousands of years later, most persons can't close down their alien mind circuits long enough to listen to the instinct knowledge of the body. A good example is in the sensation of junk food and ice cream and such. It's usually flashing in our memory patterns continually and influencing us beyond any natural hunger and cravings that we have from the body. Well, as we're going to repeatedly point out here, the so-called fall from perfection was when an animal man no longer had their animal perfection or instinct and had a chance to regain perfection and even gain immortality by simply learning to balance the new borrowed mind circuits of the cast-down gods. It was necessary, though, that we learn self-control and ethics and to grant each other person's choice before we could graduate from our schooling and be allowed into or back into the universe again. Well, at present, as you can probably see, the majority of persons have failed miserably in this quest toward a second, higher perfection. We've had non-ending war, and when our civilizations do regain higher level technology, we poison ourselves and our planets with radiation and electronic pollution and goodness knows what all. Well, we remove billions of tons of oil and coal for profits and totally squelching any use of free energy. And we, in short, today's cycle ends is coming, and we still have total chaos. We're still not able to govern ourselves and follow the golden rule that our so-called religions, laid down and gave us. Well, the Cain and Abel friction continues right up to the present. Yet originally the term Cain came from the word Cain and symbolized evolution and experience. Well, this evolution was eventually destroyed by the house of spirit falling on him, as in the case of Samson. Now, the materialism, our present technological society, is the so-called mark of Cain. And the third son of Adam was Seth. This came from the term Set, the original Egyptian god of materialism. And like Abraham, or Abram, the original word merely had an H added to it by the priests who altered the original stories. And then in the book of Enoch, it tells us Noah becoming the savior of the race during the deluge. And the deluge